In today's video, we're going to talk about who's going to win the election of 2024. Now, this is not a political channel. We don't side with either party. We are going to dive into who represents what my prediction is, and some very shocking things that I don't believe anybody else has said online, and what I think is going to actually happen. So make sure you stay tuned all the way to the end of this video, because it's gonna get really juicy. And I'd love to know, just like a poll from the whole audience here, who are you voting for and why? First of all, let's go through who's running right now, like the people who are actually running that mean something. We'll start with the Republican Party. So you may have heard of him. He's the most hated man in the universe right now. It's Donald Trump, the 45th president of the United States. He says the election was rigged. He didn't get fair justice. They're blaming him for the January 6th insurrection. He's been indicted more times than anybody else on the face of the earth. He is currently in about 1 million different lawsuits. He's the top Republican candidate. His political views are economic growth, national security, and immigration control. Another Republican nominee, and somebody who's completely out of left field, is Vivek Ramaswamy. And he's a biotech American entrepreneur who founded REBUTTALS Sciences. He's a Harvard and Yale graduate, so he's got a good upbringing in terms of scholastically. He's very outspoken, and he's the author of Woke Incorporated. His political views are national identity crisis, decline in faith, patriotism, and meritocracy. Ramaswamy is a newcomer to politics, focusing on issues like corporate wokeness and American values. He's an outsider, right? He's not a politician. I think Donald Trump has blazed the way for a lot of these outsiders to come in, non-politicians who are businessmen, who say, you know what, I could change things, somebody else got it, and I think that I'm gonna do it. There's also Governor Ron DeSantis. He's a Republican out of Florida. He's currently the governor of Florida, and he is the strongest opponent of Donald Trump. He is somebody who has done a great job for the state of Florida. He's made some controversial decisions in the state of Florida. They're calling him the front runner, the most likely person to win besides Joe Biden or Donald Trump. So another Republican candidate is Tim Scott, and he's a senator from South Carolina. He's a businessman, and he's a conservative Republican. Some issues that he cares about is the abortion ban up to 15 weeks. He acknowledges climate control but rejects most offers to fix it. On the war in Ukraine, he supports military aid, and he says Biden does enough. Basically, he supports all of Trump's policies on immigration, or most of them. He's the top 3 runner up, so it'd be like Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, Tim Scott at this point in time. You've got Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley, she's a former governor of South Carolina. She's also a woman, and she also is half Indian American. She's an American politician and ambassador who served as the 116th governor of South Carolina from 2011 to 2017. A Republican, she later served as the 29th United States ambassador to the United Nations. And she's the first ever Indian American to serve in the president's cabinet. You got Mike Pence. I'm not going to get too far into his details. Former vice president, former governor of Indiana, very strong conservative, checks all the boxes for strong conservatives. There's New Jersey, former governor Chris Christie. Chris Christie is a conservative guy. He's also a lawyer, and he stands for a lot of conservative values, kind of checks all those boxes. He's made some controversial statements about bridges and done some controversial things, and I'm about ready to drop a bomb on you. So if you guys have not subscribed to this channel, make sure that you do. Make sure that you like, follow, and share. And I'd love to hear your comments on this thing. Like I said, this is not a political channel, but we want to talk to you about business. So business is part of politics a little bit, because depending on who gets elected, Dave Chappelle says, what are you gonna do? One of his audience heckled him the other day and said, what are you gonna do, Dave Chappelle, if Trump gets elected? He goes, I'm gonna lower my taxes.
What am I gonna do if Trump gets reelected? Probably get a significant tax break.
So that's what it comes down to. We know if a Republican gets elected, our taxes are gonna go down. And if a Democrat gets elected, our taxes are gonna go up. So for me, I think you probably know where I stand there. I'm probably gonna vote with my wallet, but I'm also gonna look to see, what's best for the country. So now let's get into the other side, which is the Democrats. So we've got first front runner would be our president, Joe Biden, the 46th president of the United States. Joe Biden's got a lot of unkept mess kind of going on right now. He's got Hunter Biden, and I believe that is probably something that could affect Joe Biden's presidency, as well as his memory. Like, he's got some serious issues here, Joe Biden. I think if you're going to go down this, he's probably one of the presidents who's lied the most, just blatantly, and seems to get away with it, which I guess makes you a fantastic politician. Running through the bullet points, he's got full support from the Democratic Party. Seems to be that, he's their guy. One of the things he's caught some heat on, the Inflation Reduction Act, which has nothing to do with inflation or reduction. It has everything to do with green energy and climate control. He's the front runner for the Democratic Party, and he's someone that is on the top list for them to get elected. My question to you is he cognizant enough? Is he smart enough? Is he trustworthy enough? And is he gonna get reelected? The debate against Trump, I felt like Trump actually looked bad because Joe Biden because he looked sharp and Trump just could not control himself and he jumped on all of them. I thought Trump's strategy failed him because he should have probably just let the other guy seek himself. Instead, he couldn't help but pouncing on him, and that's probably one of the reasons that he did not get elected.
China ate your lunch, Joe, and no wonder your son goes in and he takes out billions of dollars.
You can say what you want about Joe Biden, but he's the president of the United States. He's been in politics for almost 50 years, and he continues to get elected, and he's got full support of his party, and I'd love to hear your comments about him as well. So you've got Marianne Williamson. So Marianne Williamson is a self-help author and former spiritual advisor to Oprah Winfrey, and is running for a second time. In her unsuccessful 2020 campaign, she called for a federal Department of Peace, supported reparations for slavery, and called Trumpism a symptom of illness in the American psyche that could not be cured with the political process. She has also promoted debunked medical theories, particularly on mental illness. And she'll be 72 years old on Inauguration Day. She's got my attention. If I'm in the Democratic Party, I'm looking at her and saying, oh, that's a viable candidate. And then there's Robert F. Kennedy Jr. This guy is somebody that I have actually looked into. Super smart guy. One of the things that I hate to say it is I just don't think he's going to get elected because of his voice. It's a sad thing. I know I heard him say it one time where he's got some condition where his vocal cords are damaged, and he's just very hard to hear. And I don't know if the American people are going to be able to get past that.
Mr. Kennedy, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Brian, for having me.
He's going to be the voice of the country, and I don't know if that's the voice that people are going to want to hear. As surface level as that is, I think that that's going to prevent him from being the president. And he's got the name. He's got the freaking knowledge. He's been on Joe Rogan. He was shut down off Joe Rogan. So Robert F. Kennedy is a nephew of former President John F. Kennedy, is a prominent anti-vaccine activist. He has promoted debunked claims that childhood vaccines are linked to autism and rallied against coronavirus vaccine mandates and other pandemic mitigation measures. Our priorities for the people: heal the divide, clean it up, turn it around, bring it home, restore our rights. He says we're going to remake the institutions that serve the public. We're going to roll back the secrecy and surveillance, stop the censorship, make the government transparent. We're going to unite American around safe and healthy food. That I am 100% on board with. That is the strongest. I think that every political candidate, if they're not bought and paid for, should have that exact same thing. Who does not want to eat healthy food and not worry about some genetically modified food? Robert Kennedy, in my opinion, is the best candidate for the Democratic Party. This is what I've been waiting for to tell you. I don't think it's any of those candidates who's actually gonna win. You know who I think is gonna win and I think is gonna run that hasn't announced it yet? I think it's gonna be Gavin freaking Newsom. Gavin freaking Newsom is the surprise candidate that is going to win the Democratic Party nomination. Okay, I don't know if he's gonna win the presidency, but I believe if you're gonna line up everybody, Joe Biden, Marianne Williamson, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., they're gonna pick Gavin Newsom. He's running the state of California. They tried to take him down. He wouldn't go down without a fight. He fought back. They tried to recall the election. He got it back. He went into the line of fire on Sean Hannity's program. I don't know if you guys have seen that. He was articulate. He was sharp. He answered every question. He's a handsome dude. He's a great politician. He's been on a tour. So whether it's this time or the next time, he will be running for president, and I would say that probably it's going to be now. Mark this down, because I think I'm right, okay? I'm not knowing I'm right, but I think I'm right, and I'd love to hear your opinion. I believe that they will come up with something about Biden and throw in Gavin Newsom as the front runner. I think he's the only guy that can win for them, and I just don't think Biden is sound enough to run as a president. That's really it. Now, the other side. I don't know who's gonna win. I've got no idea. I've never seen anything like this where one side has gone after the other side so bad. Can Trump sustain this? Can he rally his base enough? My opinion, it's gonna be Newsom versus Trump 2024, or Newsom versus DeSantis 2024. One of those things, I think it's going to be like that. What do you think? Who you're voting for? I also like Ramaswamy. I like businessmen. I think politicians, a lot of times, they tell you what you want to hear, and they don't really have any real life experience in terms of running things other than their mouths. Let me know what you think. Let me know who you think about on the election. Let me know who you think is going to win. Is Gavin Newsom going to run? Is Biden going to make it? Who knows? We'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.